Hold on, we're back on the record. The record will show the presence of the defendant and all counsel. The jury is not present. Ms. Wilmot.
I just wanted to add to the record regarding the camera being dropped that it also is important with regard to any future technological processes that might be done if there's any appellate review.
Okay, your record is made.
Thank you.
And Judge, may we approach Excellent?
Yes, you may. All right, let's bring in the jury. Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. You may continue.
Your name, sir?
Officer Michael Melendez.
Sir, before the break, we were talking about the camera and the time on exhibits 160 and 161, and you told me that, or we know by looking at it, that it's approximately 44 seconds, right?
Yes.
Do you know anything that was going on just by examining the camera and the photographs? Do you know anything that was going on in those 44 seconds?
No.
Anything that you can tell us is, what, speculation on your part?
It would be, yes.
With regard to the camera, one of the things that you were asked about is whether or not the camera can take photographs upside down. And we were talking about exhibits 162 and exhibits 163. Do you remember that?
Yes.
The camera is exhibit what?
214.
Take that out, please. And you indicated that the photographs that I've just referenced were taken when the camera was upside down.
Yes.
Put it upside down on the counter there.
You want to put it somewhere it can be seen? Or...
Just in front of you, right
Okay.
there. And press on it, and would it be consistent, or is it possible to take a photograph with the camera that way?
Yes, it would be.
What are you required to do?
It takes very little movement of the camera forward.
So what are you required to do?
Press the button down.
And can you press it down with your hand?
Not when it's upside down. As
No,
far
no,
as
no,
on
no,
top
no.
of it, yes.
With your hand on
Yes.
top, can you press
Yes.
it down?
Yes.
Can you press it down with your foot?
Sure.
Can you press it with any other part of your body so that the mechanism that takes the photograph is engaged?
Yes.
You were asked about the previous photographs of Mr. Alexander in the shower. Do you remember those, for example, 159?
Yes, I do.
And you were asked whether or not there were any injuries there, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And with regard to, let's just pick one exhibit, exhibit 168, which is part of the other photographs. Any injuries in those?
No.
And how about with regard to exhibit 162? Any injuries there?
Yes.
You were asked about the smell of Clorox. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Are you familiar with washing clothing?
Yes.
When you put Clorox in, does it stay in there constantly, or is there a process whereby soap is added as part of the washing process?
Yes.
Is there also softener added as part of that process?
Correct.
And if it's run through and you get to the very end, are the clothes going to smell like Clorox?
Not mine, no.
Pardon?
Mine do not, no.
The purpose of putting, well, I'll leave it at that. The issue of the text messages.
Yes, sir.
You were asked whether or not you looked at some of the text messages. Did you look at some of the text messages?
Yes.
Did you look at all of the text messages?
No.
Why not?
There were too many.
And you said that it would take you a substantial period of time. How much time would you have estimated that it would have taken you to look at all of those text messages and photograph each one individually?
I would estimate if I did nothing else other than just that during my entire shift, it would have probably taken me 8 months or so.
And subsequent to that, though, was there technology that was developed that made it possible to extract those text messages?
Yes.
And was that done in this case?
To my understanding, yes.
So the answer is yes or
Yes.
no? The computer, I misheard. When was the last time that there was any activity there?
Well, the last time there was any activity that I saw that was done by someone causing activity on the computer using it was on 6/4/2008 at 16:54 hours.
1654, which is
4:54 p.m.
All right. Do you remember what activity that was?
I don't remember the specific activity, but it would be something that would lead me to believe that a user was using it, whether it be someone going on the internet or something to that effect. But it would be someone showing me on the when I'm analyzing it that there's someone using it.
And you checked that computer to see whether or not there were any viruses, right?
Yes.
And were you able to find any?
No.
The other issue that you were asked about was with regard to these photographs, all of them, you were asked, well, about when they were deleted. Do you remember that?
Yes.
With regard to, let's start with this one right here. Exhibit 162. See the date and the time there?
Yes.
Was that photograph deleted before 5/32/16?
No.
When was it deleted in relationship to that time?
It would have to be after it was taken.
And the same thing with regard to exhibit 163. Was it deleted before or after 5/33/32?
It will be after.
And in order to delete that, how many steps would it take if they were just deleting one at a time?
5.
And if they were deleting both of them and they were doing it one at a time, how many steps would it take?
It would take the 5 initial steps, and then you would probably another 2 or 3.
And so it would be 7 or 8 then, right?
Yes.
And if you were going to then delete this other one individually, how many more steps are we talking about total?
At least another 2 and 3, so total another maybe 12, 10.
I don't have any other questions.
Does any member of the jury have a question for this witness? I see no hands. Thank you. You may step down.
Thank you.
State may call its next witness.
Take the floor, so to say.
Detective, you are still under oath. Do you understand?
I do.
Your name, sir?
Esteban Flores?
And you're the same individual that testified previously, correct?
Yes.
We were talking about a telephone that was found at the residence, correct? That, at the residence where Mr. Alexander was found? Do you
Yes.
remember that one? I'm going to show you exhibit 221. Do you recognize this telephone as having anything to do with that residence?
Yes.
And is that the telephone that was retrieved from the residence?
Yes, it was.
I move for the admission of exhibit 221.
Did you say 221 or 321?
221.
221.
No objection.
Just look at it, see what it looks like without dating and out what it's containing. And that's it, correct?
Yes.
Sir, drawing your attention back to July 15th of 2008, we previously talked about a conversation that you had with the defendant, correct?
Yes.
And previously, we also talked about whether or not you had read her Miranda warnings, right?
Yes.
And we played that tape, correct?
Yes, correct.
As part of that conversation, though, you spoke to her about other things, right?
Yes, I did.
And initially, before the Miranda warnings were read, you asked her if she was willing to sit down with you, right?
Yes, I did.
And she gave you an answer, right?
Yes.
Is that set out in exhibit number? .348.
Yes.
I move for the admission of exhibit 348.
Objection.
348 is admitted.